After a long and wise walk, the little prince decided to rest. And that's when the fox appeared. With her eyes bright and full of mystery, she approached softly, like a secret whispered by the wind. His orange fur glistened in the setting sun, and there was something undeniably seductive about his deep, penetrating gaze. The little prince, enchanted by the fox's captivating presence, felt a wave of curiosity and desire course through his body. Her every movement was like a dance, a choreography carefully crafted to seduce and bewitch. She moved even closer, her paws barely touching the ground, and spoke in a voice that was both soft and teasing. "Hello, little prince," said the fox, his voice carrying a dangerous sweetness. "Would you like to tame me?" These words, loaded with a deep and sensual meaning, resonated in the little prince's ears. He knew that taming meant bonding, and bonding meant opening your heart and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. The idea was both frightening and incredibly appealing. He felt his heart beat faster, as if he were responding to an irresistible call. "Domesticate," he repeated, the word escaping his lips like a sigh. "What does that mean exactly?" The fox smiled, a smile full of unspoken promises. She sat down gracefully, her eyes never leaving his, and explained, "It means bonding. It means that you will be the only one in the world for me, and I will be the only one for you in the world. And that, my dear little prince, is a rare thing, and precious." As she spoke, the little prince could feel the intensity of her words. He could almost see the invisible bonds that were beginning to form between them, weaving a web of feelings and emotions that held him in a sweet and inescapable way. The fox was a creature of fierce beauty, and its wisdom was a powerful magnet that drew the little prince closer and closer. "I want this," he said finally, his voice thick with determination and desire. "I want to bond with you, fox." She smiled again, a smile that promised adventure, discovery, and a kind of love that was both tender and overwhelming. "Then you must have patience," she said softly. "First you will sit a little away from me like this on the grass. I will look at you from the corner of my eye, and you will not say anything. Language is a source of misunderstanding. But every day you will be able to sit a little bit closer." "Exactly. You are still nothing to me but a boy entirely like 100,000 other boys. And I have no need of you, and you don't need me. In your eyes, I look like a fox like 100,000 other foxes." The fox's words were like a hypnotic melody, drawing the little prince into a world where every gesture, every look, was loaded with meaning and sensuality. He knew he was about to embark on a journey of profound discovery, where every moment would be a step closer to the mystery and beauty that the fox represented. And with that thought, he allowed himself to be guided by the fox's irresistible charm, ready to discover the secrets she had to share. "My life is monotonous. I hunt the chickens and the men hunt me. All chickens look alike and so do all men. But if you captivate me, my life will be full of sunshine. I will hear a sound of footsteps that will be different from the others. The others make me get under the ground. Yours will call me out of the hole like music. Imagine the transformation, the sweet shiver that runs through my skin when I hear your footsteps. There is a unique melody, a sensual rhythm that only you can create, calling me out with a promise of warmth and discovery. You will be the light that illuminates my existence, a shine I have never experienced before. And then look, do you see the wheat field in the distance? I don't eat bread. Wheat for me is useless. Wheat fields don't remind me of anything. And that's sad. But you have golden hair. And then it will be wonderful when you captivate me. The wheat, which is golden, will remind me of you. And I will love the sound of the wind in the wheat. Your presence will transform the mundane into something extraordinary. Each strand of wheat, golden like your hair, will become a symbol of our bond. The wind, soft and seductive, will whisper your name, and I, intoxicated by the memory of your beauty, will find joy in every breeze that passes. The simple touch of the wind will become an intimate caress, a constant reminder of the bond that unites us. Your captivation will change everything. Each moment will be filled with a new color, a new emotion, and the sound of the wind in the wheat will become the symphony of our bond. I will live for these moments, longing for every sound, every breath that brings me back to you. And so, my once monotonous life will be transformed into an eternal dance of love and desire, where every movement is a celebration of what we have built together. So captivate me, and allow the monotony to dissolve into a kaleidoscope of sensations. Allow the world around us to transform, reflecting the intensity and passion of our bond. And together we will find beauty and meaning in every detail, living a life that is anything but ordinary. The fox, with hypnotic grace, outlined the captivation process. Her voice, soft as a whisper, caressed the little prince's ears, promising an intimate and sensual journey of discovery. The prince, wrapped in the promise of a unique bond, felt a shiver of anticipation run through his body. Imagine yourself sitting in the grass at a safe distance, but close enough to feel the fox's magnetic presence. Their eyes meet, and even without words, there is a profound exchange full of unspoken promises. Her every movement is a dance, a choreography that seduces and bewitches, making the closeness slowly increase each day. With each encounter, the distance decreases. The little prince feels his heart racing as the fox gets closer and closer. The silence between them is not empty, but loaded with meaning, like a secret language that only they understand. The tension grows, the expectation of a touch, of a moment of deeper connection, makes each day a delicious torture of waiting and desire. The fox, with his wisdom and irresistible charm, guides the prince through this ritual of approximation. She knows that patience is the key to creating true bonds, and she uses this time to weave a web of emotions that encircles the prince's heart inexorably. Each step, each furtive glance builds an invisible but unbreakable bond between them. The next day the prince returned. "It would have been better if you came back at the same time," said the fox, with an enigmatic smile. "If you come, for example, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, from 3 o'clock I will start to be happy. The closer the time comes, the happier I will feel. At 4 o'clock then I will be restless and agitated. I will discover the price of happiness." The fox, with seductive elegance, spoke of the expectation that turned into delicious anticipation. The prince, fascinated by the promise of increasing happiness, felt his heart quicken as he imagined the effect his presence had on the fox. Every minute that passed, filled with expectation, increased the tension between them, making each moment even more precious. "If you come, for example, at 4 in the afternoon, from 3 o'clock I will start to be happy," repeated the fox, his intense gaze meeting the prince's. He could see the light in her eyes, the promise of joy that only her presence could bring. The idea of being the source of such happiness enveloped him in a sweet, overwhelming warmth. The fox continued, his voice soft and teasing, describing how the wait turned into a dance of emotions. "The closer the time comes, the happier I will feel. At 4 o'clock then I will be restless and agitated. I will discover the price of happiness." There was an urgency in his words, a palpable desire that made the prince's heart beat faster. The prince imagined the fox, waiting anxiously, every second increasing the intensity of his happiness. The image of her, agitated and expectant, was irresistibly captivating. He could almost feel the electricity in the air, the chemistry between them growing with each moment approaching 4 o'clock. "I will discover the price of happiness," the fox finished, his voice a whisper full of promises. The prince knew that the happiness she spoke of was not ordinary, but something deep and sensual, a happiness that came from the anticipation of an encounter charged with meaning and desire. Each day, as the appointed time approached, the prince felt his tension growing. He knew that it was not just the fox who was experiencing this growing happiness, but he himself too, anxious and agitated, discovering the pleasure of waiting and the joy of a bond that transcended time and space. So the little prince captivated the fox. But when it was time to leave, the fox, with a sad and profound look, said, "Oh, I will cry." "It's your fault," said the little prince, with a mixed tone of sadness and understanding. "I didn't want to hurt you, but you wanted me to captivate you." "I wanted to," said the fox, his voice filled with a soft melancholy, as if each word were a sigh from his heart. "Then you won't have gained anything." The little prince felt the pain of parting, a tightness in his chest, as if he was leaving a part of himself behind. "Yes, I will," said the fox, his eyes shining with a mysterious intensity. "Because of the color of the wheat." The fox, with wisdom that transcends the ordinary, continued to explain. The prince, caught by the magnetism of her words, felt that every moment they spent together had changed something within him. Then she added, with a tone that was both gentle and expectant, "Go look at the roses. This way you will understand that yours is the only one in the world. You will come back to say goodbye, and I will gift you with a secret." The fox's words echoed in the prince's heart, each syllable carrying a deep, sensual meaning. The promise of a secret, something intimate and precious, made the prince want to prolong that moment, absorb every detail, every emotion. He knew that what they had shared was more than just friendship. It was a connection that transformed the mundane into the extraordinary. The wheat, once meaningless, was now a symbol of everything they had experienced, each ear a golden reminder of moments of discovery and bonding. The prince left to see the roses again, but his heart was with the fox, each step taking him away physically but bringing him closer emotionally. He knew that, upon returning, the farewell would be bittersweet, filled with a depth that only those who truly love can understand. "Goodbye," he said, his voice breaking and his eyes brimming with emotion. "Goodbye," said the fox, his eyes shining with a soft intensity and full of wisdom. "Here's my secret. You can only see clearly with your heart. The essential is invisible to the eyes." The fox's words hung in the air, resonating with a deep truth that the little prince felt echoing in his soul. He understood in that magical moment that the purest beauty and the deepest feelings could not be captured by sight, but only by the heart. As the sun set, bathing the wheat field in golden light, the little prince felt an indescribable connection to the universe around him. Each ear of wheat, golden like the fox's hair, whispered secrets of the love, friendship, and bond they had created. The wind, soft and warm, seemed to sing a melody of farewell and hope, enveloping the prince in an invisible embrace. He looked at the fox one last time, his eyes meeting hers in a moment of mutual understanding. There was a silent promise between them, an understanding that transcended words. With a heart full of gratitude and longing, the little prince walked away, each step physically taking him away, but leaving a piece of his heart with the fox. The fox, in turn, watched the prince leave, knowing that he carried with him the most important lesson of all, that what is essential is invisible to the eyes, and that only with the heart can one truly see. She settled into the grass, the wind playing with her fur, and smiled softly, feeling complete and at peace. In that moment, the wheat field turned into a sea of living gold, each ear reflecting the light of the setting sun as if it were a beacon of memories and promises. The little prince followed his path, knowing that wherever he went, the color of wheat would always take him back to that moment of discovery and love. And so, goodbye turned into a new beginning, a continuous journey where the essential, invisible to the eyes, would guide your steps. With a heart full of love and a mind full of memories, the little prince knew that true vision came from the heart, and this magical truth would accompany him forever, illuminating his path with the eternal light of friendship and love shared with the fox.